Welcome to the AI Applied podcast. I'm your host, Jaden Schaefer. Each week, I cover breaking AI news, tools, and interview experts giving you actionable tips on applying AI into your career, job, workflows, and life. Make sure that you go to aibox.ai, link in the show notes, to join the waitlist for our new AI platform. We're going to be launching an incredible platform that allows you to build anything you want with workflows in AI. So you're able to chain together ChatGPT and image generators and audio generators to make really powerful apps for your organization, or you can host them on our marketplace and actually generate royalties from them. So make sure to go to aibox.ai and join the waitlist. In addition, if you like the podcast, if you could do me a massive favor and please leave us a review on Apple or Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcast. This helps me be able to get better guests on here as they check the reviews to see how you guys are liking it. So if you could please do that, I would really appreciate it. If you followed the podcast for a while, you'll know that I've run a bunch of series that essentially are, how ChatGPT will disrupt travel or how ChatGPT will disrupt X, Y, and Z industry. I've done it for a bunch of things. And it's kind of interesting because recently I feel like in the last week or two, we've really seen, especially with ChatGPT plugins, the knob turned up on directly. I'm not like hypothesizing anymore about how ChatGPT could theoretically disrupt an industry. A lot of the tools are now coming out. And one of the big tools that I want to talk about today is cybersecurity. So, we've talked about how in the past about like how ChatGPT, it got a lot of criticism essentially by a bunch of people being like, people can use it for elaborate phishing attacks or hacking or other things. And of course, OpenAI had to come up with a bunch of security measures so that people weren't like doing that with it essentially. But what is really interesting is it is now being used actively to thwart cybersecurity, hacking, and a lot of those kind of threats. So today on the podcast, we're going to jump into what is happening right now. And the biggest thing is that Microsoft is bringing OpenAI's ChatGPT capabilities to its own cybersecurity business. So Microsoft has about a $20 billion cybersecurity business called Microsoft Security Copilot. Well, I guess that's their new one that they've just launched is called Copilot, but Microsoft Security has been out for a while, and now they're integrating this into it. And you've seen the same thing. Microsoft obviously got the super in with OpenAI when it gave them $10 billion, and so we saw Microsoft integrate ChatGPT into Word and PowerPoint and Excel, and a lot of different new tools they come out with and Bing and stuff. And so now the latest thing they're doing is is that Microsoft is bringing ChatGPT's technology into cybersecurity specifically to help people defend in a way that they've never been able to defend before, as Vasu Jakal, who is Microsoft's CVP of Security and Compliance, said. So he essentially said that you're now going to be able to protect and disrupt attacks when they're happening, and this is all going to be used. Is all going to be done through GPT-4. So also the other thing to mention though, it's going to be GPT-4 and then also Microsoft's own kind of security specific model that they've trained. So this is similar to what we've seen with GitHub and Microsoft's Copilot for coding, right? So they have this GitHub Copilot that helps you write code, and it was trained off of GitHub's data set in order to, make it a really good model that can write code. So they're doing something similar because Microsoft has been doing the cybersecurity stuff for a while, right? They have a $20 billion business here. They essentially have been able to help train a specific model based off of a lot of that info, which is, interesting how they acquired that. I'm sure there's terms of service and anonymity in the data they've collected from companies or people that they work for, but that's another thing. But they've been able to train their own model specifically on doing that. And this is kind of what it does. So essentially, it's going to be an AI bot that allows cybersecurity professionals to do things like quickly pull together information on the latest security incidents in their company, and also to kind of dig into potential threats and even quickly look at data on common vulnerabilities and exposures that they might have. So one example that Microsoft showed in their presentation on this whole thing, they showed how the Security Copilot can look into a cyber attack to pick apart how the hacker got into a network and onto a victim's device in the first place, right? So if they know what the vulnerability is, obviously they know what they can patch and do to prevent it in the future. They said it's the first and only generative AI-based model that is out there, and it's kind of a one of a kind. So it's never actually happened before. So I think Microsoft is actually getting a lot of benefits by being the first to add these AI tools, right? There's people that are trying to catch up, right? Google Bard is trying to catch up to Bing, and Google's trying to integrate with their own Word and Sheets and different document things in order to try to catch up to Microsoft. But Microsoft is launching first, and so a lot of these people are playing catch up. So as I said before, Microsoft already sells a bunch of different cybersecurity offerings in their kind of cybersecurity business. They have Microsoft Defender, Microsoft Entra, Microsoft Purview, and Microsoft Sentinel. And so that's kind of their whole cybersecurity arm, which is $20 billion a year. But what's interesting is all of those different product offerings were used to help train kind of their specialty models. So essentially, it's going to continually improve as it learns from a company's own data. But the thing that they've said, and they've actually said this for other people as well, and I think people are going to find this really important, the data that is being given to Microsoft Security Copilot is never going to be used to teach the broader Copilot algorithm. So essentially what that means is that a customer's information is going to remain its own. So if Microsoft Security Copilot is sitting there taking your data and taking information about how people are trying to hack into your systems, it's not going to use that to train the broader model, but it will use that to train your model. So it's going to be able to shut down specific types of hacks that might be common in your industry or in your company. So it's pretty much like Microsoft's Bing search engine. Essentially, cybersecurity worker is going to be able to type a prompt into a text box, and the Security Copilot is going to fire back a reply based on the app's available knowledge set from kind of its broader algorithm, or its broader data set. So just like all the other generative AI things that Microsoft is doing, they said that their Security Copilot might sometimes provide incorrect answers to prompts and give people, they're going to give people a way that they can just like report that. So it's continually going to be able to be trained and improved. And of course, these things aren't going to be perfect when they launch, but as we've seen with ChatGPT 3, 3.5, and now GPT-4, these things do get better, and they are quite impressive with all of the things that they're able to do. So this is pretty amazing. Microsoft obviously right now is absolutely riding high on its multi-billion-dollar investment in OpenAI. You can see they're trying to take to the full advantage in every way they can and really make it the most profitable possible. This getting a lot of skepticism and criticism too from some people in the software industry that say, look, you have this massive AI model that can do a lot of things. Should you be the one integrating it into all the tools? But it's a free market, and so they of course put the money in. They can do that. So it'll be interesting to see how this continues to evolve in the cybersecurity field if Microsoft becomes a very dominant leader, considering they're the first people to launch such a tool. And so this is going to be something we're definitely watching. And, when people are talking about the cons of AI and how it can be used for hacking and whatnot, I think at this point, the pros are going to be significantly outweighing the cons in a sense that OpenAI is actively working to shut down any, illicit or bad uses of ChatGPT. And so integrating it directly into these cybersecurity offerings and seeing all the good that it's able to do there is going to have a lot of, I think, net overall positive impact from this technology. If you are looking for an innovative and creative community of people using ChatGPT, you need to join our ChatGPT creators community. I'll drop a link in the description to this podcast. We'd love to see you there, where we share tips and tricks of what is working in ChatGPT. It's a lot easier than a podcast, as you can see screenshots, you can share and comment on things that are currently working. So if this sounds interesting to you, check out the link in the comment. We'd love to have you in the community. Thank you for tuning in to the AI Applied podcast. Make sure to rate this wherever you listen to your podcasts, and have a fantastic rest of your day.